Good afternoon, students. Okay. So, yes, very good afternoon. So the chats have been disabled now, enabled now, so that you can ask the questions, but we may have to stop sometime because if there are some inappropriate chats which have been sent by few students, then we may have to stop. But for now, I think we should be okay. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session on GST. So what has rightly put from some few students, Priya Mishra, that you have joined the class today for GST and we were supposed to take place of supply. Yes, we will take the chapter of place of supply, but we had discussed the topic of charge under GST in the last session and we couldn't cover the questions and the MCQs. So that's why we will first, unlike other classes where we do it at the end, we will do the uh, MCQs and the questions today, and then continue with place of supply so that we are all like fresh and we are revising what we did in the last session. So, charge of GST, we had taken only two questions, so we'll continue from where we left. Okay, so we had completed question one and question two. Question one, you could, people who were not able to join the last session, you can refer this. Mr. A has obtained a registration of a casual taxable person to make a display in an exhibition and his turnover is below 15 lakhs. So in that case, whether Mr. A is eligible for composition was the question. So we had concluded that yes, Mr. A is not eligible for composition as he's a registering as a casual taxable person and casual taxable person are specifically excluded from the composition scheme. Okay. Second question was, can the composition scheme be availed if the taxable person has interstate inward supplies? Right? Was it available or no? Yes, it was available. Like how we had understood this clearly that composition scheme, there is a restriction to make any interstate outward supplies. There is no restriction for any interstate inward supplies. So that was permitted. Sure, sure. Recorded classes also will be helpful, Priya. You can log into that and then catch up from this session. Okay. So we'll go to the next question. Question number three. Mr. A is registered in Rajasthan and who is selling goods from Rajasthan to Gujarat. And turnover of Mr. A is 73 lakhs in the preceding financial year. So whether Mr. A is eligible for composition, that's the first question. Before going to the second one, just see. Hmm. तो फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन नंबर थ्री ये बताता है कि क्वेश्चन तो आप पढ़ सकते हो, जब मैं आंसर एक्सप्लेन करूंगा तब हिंदी में एक्सप्लेन करूंगा पवन, सो दैट इट विल बी हेल्पफुल फॉर यू. Okay, so most of the answers what I've got is correct, except Rihanna is saying no sir because it doesn't fall under 75 lakhs category. 75 lakhs category क्यों आएगा? Will the criteria be 75 lakhs? Here Rajasthan to Gujarat is outward supply, yes. Kiran is saying yes, eligible. Rajiv, Rajveer, Ray, Bhumika, Divya, Anubhav, they're all saying that no, not eligible. So let me ask question to people who are saying 75. What is the limit for composition scheme? Correct, Vinay. It is 1.5 crores. Divya Ramesh is saying 50 lakhs. Where does the 50 lakhs come from? 50 lakhs is for services. In question number 5, sorry, in question number 3, do you think there is any mention of services? There is no mention, right? Then the limit will be he is selling goods. So limit is not 50 lakhs, it is 1.5 crores. Correct. Goods is clearly mentioned. And Rajasthan, what is the limit? Is it 1.5 crores or 75 lakhs? Is it a special category state? No. So the limit will be 1.5 crores itself. So the answer is Mr. A is not eligible for composition as he is making an interstate outward supply. Okay. So the limit is 1.5 crores. He is making turnover less than 1.5 crores. Still, he is not eligible because a person making any interstate outward supply from Rajasthan to Gujarat, it is a interstate supply. Correct. So since he is selling goods from Rajasthan to Gujarat, he is not eligible for composition scheme. He will have to opt for regular scheme itself. Okay. Now, second part of the same question, whether your answer will change if Mr. A is making purchase from Gujarat and selling goods in Rajasthan. Yes, eligible as it is only interstate inward supply, so eligible for composition. ठीक है? तो in the second part, the answer is yes, he is eligible. So for my folks who are in वेल कॉन्वर्स्ड विथ हिंदी, उनके लिए बता देता हूं कि फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन क्या पूछा है कि जब वो इंटरस्टेट सेल करता है तो कॉम्पोजिशन के लिए एलिजिबल है क्या? तब हमने कहा कि एलिजिबल नहीं है क्योंकि वो इंटरस्टेट सेल करता है। लेकिन क्वेश्चन को बाद में ट्विस्ट कर दिया गया कि अगर वो गुजरात से परचेज करता है और राजस्थान में ही सेल करता है, तब क्या आपका आंसर बदलेगा? तो जवाब मिला हाँ, तब आंसर बदलेगा क्योंकि वो इंटरस्टेट परचेज कर रहा है, इंटरस्टेट सेल नहीं कर रहा है, तो वो कॉम्पोजिशन स्कीम के लिए एलिजिबल होगा। क्यों एलिजिबल होगा? क्योंकि उसका टर्नओवर 73 लाख है। जो टर्नओवर जो पुराना पिछले साल का है लेस देन 1.5 करोड़ होना चाहिए, तो इसीलिए एलिजिबल है। क्वेश्चन नंबर 4। Not eligible, not eligible. Okay. Anybody contradicting? Smriti is contradicting, saying that yes, since he is registered, he is eligible. Okay. Eligible because the turnover is under 1.5 crores. Correct. That is also a good analysis. Eligible, eligible. Okay. Why is he eligible, Dhanush? Please give your reasons also, not just answer saying whether it's eligible or no. If he's eligible, why? And if he's not eligible, tell me why. Clear, Booma. You are right. Kevin, correct. Your answer is also right. Saroj, also right. Okay. So for the people who have answered that he is eligible, Almas, correct. You're also right. So people who have said that yes, he is eligible, there you need to know the reasoning. Just because it is less than 1.5 crores, so anybody will become eligible. Is composition scheme available for everyone? No. Mr. A is not eligible for composition as non-resident taxable person. Jaise in our question number one, we saw that who was not eligible? A compose is the casual taxable person, right? Casual taxable person was not eligible. Similarly, a non-resident taxable person is also not eligible for the composition scheme. Okay. So even though the turnover is less, a non-resident taxable person who is also called as NRTP, he cannot register under GST for composition because he is not permitted to do any composition business at all. He can only take a regular registration and then do the business. Clear? Question number 5. Yes, yes, Kushali. Once we finish the questions, once we finish the MCQs, we will start with the new chapter. Don't worry. Okay. Answer for this question number 5. Ah, Boomer, your exactly for your answer, this question is framed. No, Anubhav, you're saying no as he exceeds the turnover. Julli Singh is saying not eligible. Why not eligible? Yes, eligible because taxable goods turnover are under 1.5 crores. Okay. Exempted goods नहीं. Exempted goods है तो क्या हुआ? So I think this question is apt to create a confusion. Okay. So there are two things what we have to consider. I will take you to those slides, then you may get the answer because I see a lot of confusion here. Two turnover criteria we had discussed on two slides. Remember, one is on the aggregate turnover and another one is on turnover on which you'll pay tax. So this slide on aggregate turnover is important because from here we get to know that this aggregate turnover should be less than 1.5 crores, right? The aggregate turnover should be less than 1.5 crores. Now, in this aggregate turnover, it includes taxable supplies, exempt supplies, exports, and interstate supplies, and there are certain exclusions, right? If this aggregate turnover limit crosses 1.5 crores, then he is not eligible. If the aggregate turnover, that too, this is for the previous year. The aggregate turnover in the previous year should be less than 1.5 crores. Then you will pay tax only on taxable and exempt supplies. And for a trader, even on exempt supplies, you will not pay. Clear? Can you recollect what we have discussed now? Yes, Kushali, you can start today with this new chapter. Previous chapters, you can go to the video recording. Now Dhanush is giving the correct answer. Okay, so there is one aggregate turnover and then one the turnover on which you have to pay tax. So our question is on eligibility. So for the purpose of eligibility, you tell me whether Mr. A is now eligible or not. Kevin and Rajveer are still saying he's eligible. See, you have to analyze things properly. I think you're not analyzing it properly. The aggregate turnover definition includes all types of supplies which is made by all persons which are registered under single PAN. So that is the definition of aggregate turnover. So if a person is selling the goods which are not leviable to tax under GST, then he is not eligible to opt for composition. That is the first exclusion, right? If you're dealing in any good which is not leviable to tax, then he is not eligible. And then you have to see whether his turnover crosses 1.5 crores. In this case, the aggregate turnover exceeds 1.5 crores because it is 110 lakhs plus 20 makes it 130 plus 30 lakhs. Now, what is 110? 110 is that turnover on which GST is leviable, 20 is exempt goods, and 30 is non-taxable goods. Okay, but all of this has to be included to consider what is the value of aggregate turnover, correct? So when you have to consider the aggregate turnover, it is crossing 1.5 crores. So will he be eligible? No, he'll not be eligible because he is crossing 1.5 crores limit. His taxable turnover is 110 lakhs. On that, he will pay taxes current year if whatever taxable supplies he'll do. But last year, to consider the aggregate turnover, whether he can opt for composition, he will not be eligible because his aggregate turnover is crossing 1.5 crores. समझ में आया आपको? क्वेश्चन में तीन चीजें दी गई है कि उसका टैक्सेबल टर्नओवर कितना है, एग्जेम्प्ट टर्नओवर कितना है और नॉन टैक्सेबल टर्नओवर कितना है. इन तीनों को मिलाने पे जो अमाउंट आएगा उसे कहेंगे हम एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर. और इस केस में वो एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर क्रॉस हो रहा है 1.5 करोड़, तो फिर वो एलिजिबल नहीं होगा. ठीक है, समझ में आया यहाँ तक? Turnover in the state or union territory is used to find out taxable value. Turnover in the state or union territory is used to find out taxable value. Correct. So on which value you will pay tax, for that you will see the turnover in the state or union territory. Any shortcut to remember difference between non-taxable goods and exempted goods? Simple है. No shortcut. whatever is exempted, that is exempted goods, and non taxable means which is non taxable, मतलब जो आपको सेक्शन 9 में दिया है, that is non taxable goods. Simple. क्लियर है? क्वेश्चन नंबर 6 का आंसर दीजिए फिर. Sixth one, everybody is saying eligible, few are saying not eligible. One example of non-taxable goods, petroleum products, जो आप पेट्रोल खरीदते हो, that is non-taxable for the purpose of GST. When you are selling goods through e-commerce, then you are not eligible for the composition scheme. So, in case of this composition, you are not eligible because you are supplying goods through e-commerce operator. I'll just share with you the relevant aspect because you may have some doubts. Person who is not eligible, person supplying any services through an electronic commerce operator who is required to collect tax under Section 52, or person supplying any services, person supplying any services, or person any supplying services or goods through an electronic commerce operator who is not who is required to collect tax under Section 52. So only if they are required to collect tax under Section 52, then he is not eligible. You're right. ठीक है? So only they've not given anything. So we can mention in the notes itself that Mr. A is selling goods through e-commerce operator who is assumed, okay, who is assumed to be collecting tax under section 52. वो एक लिख दीजिए आप. ठीक है? Once we write this, then it is clear. Yeah, Mira, chapter 2, supply under GST, you're not able to it. I'll immediately upload it after this class. Yes, Vinay, writing assumption is mandatory because otherwise you don't know whether he is, or the examiner will not know on what basis you are saying that he's eligible or no. So once you write the assumption, because otherwise it could be an e-commerce operator who is not eligible to collect tax, right? In that case, your answer will change. So you should write the basis when the facts are not clear. Of course, in multiple choice questions, you can't do that, but in other objective questions, you should write the assumption. Question number 7. Can't we write like if it is assumed he's collecting tax under 52, he is not eligible. But in other words, if e-commerce doesn't collect it, he is eligible. Yeah, you can write that way also. Sure. Since in the above turnover limit is not eligible, why it is not eligible? He can do so, but he will have to take composition scheme for all the establishments. Okay. In order to support the answer with the sections, subsections, and provisions, do we need to write the exact same theory as mentioned in the sections? No. You don't have to mention the same theory. You can just refer to the section, and this is what the section says. You don't have to verbatim have a copy of the same section to be written. If you put it in your own words and refer to the section saying that this section is saying so and so, that should be perfectly all right. Correct, correct. He is not eligible as he has two registered states turnover. So what? If he has two registered states turnover, where is the restriction that he cannot take it? How can we how can we aggregate the turnovers for specific states and other states? All turnover, because it will be a person. It doesn't say two different person. So one person is having two establishments. So he will consolidate the turnover, correct? Because there is one person and he's having two establishments. So it will be one pan and all the turnover of all the states he will consolidate it. Correct? Yes, can, since aggregate turnover pan India is 90 lakhs, but the person needs to take composition scheme in all establishments. Okay. He can't opt for composition scheme in either of the establishments alone. Are you first now said that he can, and now Boma you're saying he can't. Dhanush is saying as per section 10.2, if a taxable person has multiple GST registration under the same PAN in different states, they must opt for this scheme from all the states. Correct. So theoretical part is fine. Your understanding 50% is right. Now, how do you make it complete? Complete your answer. 7, he is eligible. Rajita is saying eligible. No. Just check your answers. Waiting for some more answers. For Uttarakhand, limit is 75 lakhs, and for Rajasthan, 1.5 lakhs. He is eligible for goods and not for services. Okay, fine. He's not asked for services. They have asked for composition scheme, and they have not said goods or services. So fine. So 75 lakhs for Uttarakhand and 1.5 crores. So good hint. Gayatri is given to all of you. Pavan Kumar is still saying he is eligible. Should he opt for a composite scheme for all the establishments? Yes. So one thing which we had not discussed is in case of composition scheme, if you register for composition scheme for one GSTI number or for one branch, then all the branches you have to compulsorily register for composition. If one branch you're registering composition, others you are not, then you cannot register for all the branches. So you are out of the scheme. You cannot opt. One branch you want, other branch you want, not possible. All the branches should be under regular scheme or all the branches should be under composition scheme. Yes, it could be theoretical, need not be a book language, Sneha. In this case, the person has establishment in both the places. If he wants all the scheme in Rajasthan, he must opt for it in Uttarakhand when he can. Okay. So you're still saying it is possible. Uttarakhand is a special category state. That's right. We can opt for composition in Rajasthan as it is below 1.5 crores. And what about Uttarakhand then? His turnover is less than 1.5 crores. He can opt for composition scheme for all the establishment, but if he wants only for Rajasthan, then no. Okay, that he's not asked, right? Then whether he can do so is the question. He can opt for Rajasthan alone, not eligible. He can opt for both these establishments, not eligible as Uttarakhand cannot come under composition scheme. Correct. That is the correct answer. Can he be registered as composition only in the state of Uttarakhand? He cannot, right? Because for Uttarakhand, the limit is 75 lakhs and his aggregate turnover is crossing. And another important thing is once you are in a special category state, the limit will change for all other states also. Because there it is 75 lakhs and in all other states also it becomes 75 lakhs itself. Because you are in a special category state, there you should be under 75 lakhs. And if you're crossing 75 lakhs in that special category state, you're not eligible. So automatically in all other states also, you'll be ineligible. since his aggregate turnover for previous year on his permanent account number. Why I'm saying permanent account number? Because it starts with the sentence a person. So a person will have one PAN was more than 75 lakhs. Therefore, he cannot opt for composition scheme in the state of Uttarakhand. Since he cannot opt for the composition scheme in Uttarakhand, therefore, he cannot be able to opt for composition scheme in other states also. In our case, Rajasthan also, he cannot register as composition. Clear? So I have a doubt. I have establishments in 2 to 3 states, and all states have turnover crosses this scheme limit. Then am I eligible? You tell me from this example, do you think are you eligible? If you're crossing the limit in all the states, so then how can you be eligible? You're definitely not eligible. Even in one state, if you're crossing the limit, all other states will not be eligible. Okay, so this is how you understand the provisions by going through the questions and answering the MCQs also. Okay, so now we'll directly go to the MCQs. All these questions were on understanding of composition. Have you understood composition completely या composition में कुछ और doubt है आपको? Clear है? Clear. Okay. So we'll go to the MCQs then. Which of the following union territories has its own legislatures? B, 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 and D, 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 E. Confusion. Whether it is B or D. So if it is union territory with legislature or without legislation, that's a history question. Why are we referring that in GST? For considering the applicability of UT, GST and SGST. Nahi. For considering, yes, kind of you're partly correct because if it is a union territory with legislature, then it will have its own state GST law. If it is not, then UT GST will apply. Correct. Because it extend no CGST provisions, Boma, it will apply to whole of India, including the union territories. So if that is not the correct answer. So CGST Act will apply even to union territories, it will apply even to all other states. So that is not the point. The correct answer is B, because Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, and Pondicherry have their own legislature. So these are union territories with legislature. So they will have their own state GST act. Because these states have no IGST in intra-state supply. Correct. On intra-state supply, they will have CGST and SGST instead of UTGST. If it is union territory, then they will have their own CGST and UTGST to be charged. They have their own chief minister and CGST and SGST come. Correct, correct, Vinny. Okay. Question number two. Option B. Again B. Trader in goods in the state of Sikkim having turnover of 69 lakhs in the preceding financial year, whether he is eligible for composition? Yes, because his the limit is 75 lakhs in state of Sikkim, so he is eligible. Question number three. Three also B. Why is B favorite for everyone? It's not favorite, that's the answer. Three, the answer is B. Yes. Somebody is saying D. Why D will come here? For a service provider. Doesn't say for goods how much services he can do. So answer is not D, it is B itself. For a pure service provider, the limit is 50 lakhs. And this limit is the marginal limit for a person who is dealing in goods that is under 10.1 and 10.2. And they want to do some services for them, this is the limit. But for a pure service provider, it is 50 lakhs. Fourth one, C. B is no more favorite. Okay. C is what somebody is saying. Few are saying B. If you are still having B as their favorite, A is a non-resident taxable person. This we had already taken up one question, right? So the answer is D. Composition scheme shall not apply to a non-resident taxable person. How can you give wrong answer for this when we had discussed already? Question number 5. Oh, lot of confusion. 5C and 5D, there's a war between 5C and 5D. Okay, so at least nobody is giving answer that it is A or B. It is between 5C and 5D. Five C. Oh, sir, Subhashni is saying answer is A. This is the only one who's saying A. Oh God, no, 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 no. People don't get confused. The answer is C. You can provide services up to 10% of the turnover or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher, not the lower, whichever is higher. Let's say we took example saying that if it is 7 lakhs, right, or 5 lakhs, 7 is higher. So we can take services up to 7 lakhs. So if the 10% of the turnover is more than 5 lakhs, then you can go up to that also. Okay, so the answer is higher, not the lower. Don't get confused. Okay. GST is payable by a composition dealer who is a manufacturer is liable for GST. What will be the GST payable by this manufacturer? One, we need to go to the place of supply chapter also. But if I'm not getting sufficient answers, then I cannot proceed further. Again, lot of mixed reaction. The answer is class A. The manufacturer, he has to pay 1%. Okay. But there are two 1%. One is 1% of turnover in a state, 1% of turnover of taxable supplies. The correct answer is A. For a manufacturer, it is 1% of turnover in a state. Okay. Seventh question obviously will be for a trader. For this, the answer indirectly I've told there itself. Correct. The answer for this is very simple. For manufacturer, it is 1% of the turnover of turnover in a state, and for a trader, it is 1% of turnover of taxable supplies in a state. Clear? You know the distinction between it comes to manufacturer and trader now. Question number 8. Good. Correct. Correct. Right. For this, everybody is given a correct answer. No doubt at all that it is 5% or 12%. If the GTA pays, then he can pay at 12% with ITC, or he can pay 5% without ITC. And for a recipient, if it has to pay, it will pay at a rate of 5%. Mr. A.R. Rahman composed music to a music company. This is tricky, but we had discussed this. 9th one, A. Mhm. Not sure. Okay, yes, the correct answer is B. Who is located in a taxable territory. He is liable, no service provided music composer falls under reverse charge mechanism. So it will be under reverse charge itself. Yes, Anubhav, good. 10th one. 10th one option is B. Yes, it is B. Composition scheme has to be adopted uniformly by all the registered person having the same PAN. This, I think everybody is given the correct answer because we are so very clear with the composition scheme. Yep. Question number 11. BBCC. कौन से क्वेश्चन के लिए आर ऑल आंसरिंग फॉर क्वेश्चन नंबर 11? Question for 11 is B. Correct. He can issue bill of supply, but cannot collect tax on outward supplies and ITC cannot be claimed. What is the disadvantage of a composition scheme levy? Well, I guess B and I guess D. The answer is D. It's a disadvantages because more compliance required is a disadvantage because mm, low rates of tax, simple calculation, and simple annual return. More compliance required is actually a disadvantage. Yes. Okay. So we are through with MCQs on this. Now we can, no, it's not. What is a low rates of tax? I think this question has to get framed. What is not a disadvantage of a composition scheme? All of it. Actually, this question itself is wrong because for composition scheme, there are no compliance required at all, right? So what is not a disadvantage? So this is advantage, this is advantage, this is advantage. This is not a disadvantage. Okay. So we'll move to place of supply, which is the discussion today. Okay, some doubts. So I think the question was right. All where the advantages and opportunity was a disadvantage that more compliance are required are more compliance are there in composition. No, actually, Priya, there are no kind of compliances because where you just file one annual return and you pay the taxes quarterly. In once in a year, you file one return and quarterly payments. That's why I'm saying that is there are no not much of compliances for a composition scheme. Yeah, we have to check a lot of conditions that is there because what who is eligible, ineligible, that you have to check. Okay. So the main topic for today is on place of supply. So we'll start with place of supply and see that how we progress. And of course, we have three sessions for this, but it is very, very, very kind of detailed or very kind of in a systemized manner. So we can understand place of supply very easily. What will you learn in this chapter? Why place of supply is important? What is a B2B and B2C transaction? What is the place of supply for goods other than the goods which are imported or exported from India? Place of supply of services that is covered under section 12. So place of supply is relevant for CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST everywhere. But the constitution says only the central government can determine what is the place of supply. That's where the place of supply are there in the IGST rules because if they place in CGST rules, again it has to be paid under SGST rules, right? Because CGST and SGST will go hand in hand. And if they mention in CGST, then state also will have to do. But constitutionally, state does not have the power. So that's why it was not viable to place it in CGST Act. It has placed deliberately in IGST Act because only IGST Act doesn't have to get replicated under each state. Correct? So that's the reason IGST, it will be only in centers and state will not have to pass it. So that's why place of supply is there in IGST Act. Then we will also understand what is the definition because we say that okay, CGST, SGST has to pay paid on a intrastate transaction and IGST has to be paid on a interstate transaction. So what is interstate? What is intrastate? That also is given on a separate definition. So we will understand section 7 and section 8 again of the IGST Act to understand what is a interstate supply and what is a intrastate supply. Then we'll see what happens that okay, interstate intrastate is fine, but if some transaction happens in the territorial waters, we know the definition of India and we know that there is territorial waters. Any transaction happening in a territorial waters also liable for GST. But which state will levy the tax? Within the state, my state. Within from one state to another state, IGST. But what happens for transactions within the territorial waters? Will it go to the center or state? If it goes to the center, then those states which are closer to that territory from where the ship starts, they will have a question. And if it goes to another territory, then there'll be a question. That's why Section 9 clarifies all of that, and it says what will happen, what will be the tax payable in case of a transaction in territorial waters. Taxes are to be paid correctly, right? That's why that is for intrastate, you have to pay CGST and SGST. And what happens instead of paying CGST, SGST, you pay IGST? Is it still fine? Okay, so we started with class with lot of interaction. So let's continue that. No, state will not leave us, correct? It is fine as it is combined both. No, but for CGST and SGST, it is not combined. The rate may be combined. So instead of 9 plus 9, it will be 18. That's fine. But that is not sufficient because whatever is C goes to the central government, S goes to the center government, state government, and if it is I, everything goes to the central government. So the state will not be happy, as rightly pointed out by Bhumika. Paid directly to the central government and state government, no tax. Yeah. Maybe have to pay again tax. Yes. Entire amount goes to the government, then appropriate between states. No, that they don't do because appropriation, it'll never happen. That's why all the state governments will generally make a huge cry saying that we have not got funds from the center. So state government's funds has to come directly to it. If it goes to the center and comes then states will not have any say. So when SGST has to come, it has to come. Yes, Sunil Gupar has given the right answer. We have to pay again CGST and SGST. That instead of paying CGST and SGST, if we have paid, taxes are paid correctly, that is in case of intrastate, what happens when instead of CGST, SGST, IGST paid, then you have paid what? IGST. Now you have to pay the CGST and SGST, and whatever is the wrong IGST, you have to apply for refund. Okay, correct, Vinay, correct thing. So this is cascading effect of tax. Yeah, to some extent. So if you pay the wrong taxes, there is no mechanism of any adjustment like ledger reconciliation. That instead of paying you, if I pay to somebody in my books of account, I can say that okay, paid to A instead of B. So I'll give credit to B because I had to make payment to B, but I made payment to A. But I will give credit to B itself. That is possible in books of accounts, but in GST, that possibility is not there. Even in income tax, it is possible that you pay TDS under wrong head, you can adjust it. But in GST, CGST will go to the CGST and IGST will go to the IGST and SGST will go to the SGST. Okay. There is, once you make a payment in cash, before offsetting it in your returns, you can adjust it. But even in the returns, if it is posted that C and S is gone to I, then you cannot do anything. You have to pay CGST and SGST again and claim the refund of IGST. And to claim refund from the government, okay, you have all heard it. So it's so very tough. Correct? You have to justify you because the government also has to establish that people are not asking wrong refunds. So that is very cumbersome process. So that's the reason place of supply is important. If you know the correct place of supply, you will pay the correct tax. That is where the importance of place of supply comes from. What is place of supply? Place of supply is constitution empowered the unions to make the rules. Hence, it's only in IGST. This we had discussed that it is not there in CGST Act because if it is C, it will go to S and S does not have power. So it is there only in the IGST Act. And place of supply. What is place of supply? Place of supply is the place where the supply is consumed. Now, how do you determine what it is consumed? Will you go and ask the customer that where did you consume? You tell me you bought the goods from here, you went there, did you consume there? Practically not possible. So the rules will determine what is the place of supply. So why only in IGST, Dhanush? Because the constitution has empowered the union to make rules. That is the union government, which is the central government. And central government has exclusive powers in what? In IGST law. That's why it is there in the IGST law. We have separate rules for place of supply of goods and separate rules for place of supply for services. Place of supply of goods says where the goods move. Okay. Where the goods are moving, that is the place of supply. Where the goods will get terminated or where the goods will end, that is the place of supply. So in case of goods, we can easily decide it because it is tangible. So we know where the goods are moving, right? So where the goods move, tangible, so it is easily identifiable. But for place of supply for services, is it so easy? Not so easy, right? Because there are a lot of difficulties due to the manner of delivery. Service provider will be in one state, service receiver may be in another state. You cannot decide where they are actually using the service. Other challenges may be services may flow in more than one state, right? And the actual place of consumption, I may take some services here, but the actual consumption may happen some other state. So at least for goods, it is easier, but for services, it is very tough. That's why place of supply of services, the rules will be more lengthier than the place of supply for goods. Yeah. What is B2B and B2C transaction? We will understand this because in most of the scenarios now, we will use the term B2B and B2C. What is B2B transaction? B2B means business to business, which means what? If the such type of transactions, the recipient is also a registered supplier and hence he is eligible to take ITC, he is called as a B2B supplier. Okay. If goods are sent by supplier to another state is IGST, but buyer himself took them, it is not IGST. Correct. So we will decide from the place of supply. So in case of a B2B transaction, you are registered and the customer, he is also registered. So from one registered entity to another registered entity, when we supply something, it is called as a B2B transaction. And when you are a supplier, you are registered, your customer is not registered, that is a B2C transaction. So that is B2B transaction and B2C transaction. When you make supply from one registered person to another registered person, it is a B2B transaction. When you make supply from one registered person to another registered person, that is a B2C transaction. Okay. Next is getting into place of supply for goods. Okay. So this is a detailed thing. So we'll need a time. We'll take a break here and come and understand this. Okay, welcome back. So we were discussing on the basics. Now let's get into the place of supply of goods. So we understood what is B2C, B2B, and what is a B2C transaction. Now we'll discuss what is the place of supply of goods. Section 10 of the IGST Act is relevant. So very few sections, so you can remember this. Section 10 is for place of supply of goods, and section 12 is for place of supply of services. Rules to provide the place of supply of goods. Section 10(1) says where the supply involves movement of goods. Okay, so 10(1) is under various subsections. So based on the nature of the transaction, the place of supply for goods will differ. Now there could be a supply where the supply involves movement of goods. There is a supply transaction and it involves movement of goods. Second is the supply not involving movement of goods. For some transactions, goods are already there with the customer, so there is no movement of goods as such required. So that is a case of supply not involving movement of goods. Third is goods delivered on bill to ship to model. Okay. So when we know this bill to ship to model, when the buyer says that I placed the order, but ship it to the other person. So in that case, what will be the place of supply for goods? Third, this is the third one. Fourth one is when the goods assembled or installed at a site. When the goods are assembled or installed at a site, then what is the place of supply? Then when goods are supplied on board a conveyance, that is when you're traveling in any conveyance, it could be flight, it could be train, it could be bus, any goods which are delivered on board a conveyance, then what is the supply? Example of supply not involve movement of goods, we'll come to that. So once we go to each of this, so this is just a summary of what we will go. We'll go each of this, then you'll get an example for all of this. Okay. Now, place of supply of goods, first one, 10(1)(a). It says that where the supply involving movement of goods. When the supply is involving movement of goods, then the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time when the movement of goods terminates. Terminates means where it ends for delivery to the recipient. Okay. So the place of supply for goods when the goods are under when the supply involves movement of goods. The you will get into this description once you satisfy this. That is, your supply is involving movement of goods. For your supply, there is some goods which has to get moved. Okay, the supply involves movement of goods. There, the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time when the movement of goods terminates. So where the goods are getting terminated, that is the place of supply. Why the goods are getting terminated? For delivery to the recipient. So when you're transporting goods from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, where are the goods terminating? It is terminating in Tamil Nadu. So the place of supply is Tamil Nadu. Location of supplier is in the state of Karnataka because that is where he started moving the goods. So where the place of supply is in Tamil Nadu, location of supply is in Karnataka, that is when we call it as a interstate because location of supplier and place of supply are in two different states. Okay. So where the location of supplier and place of supply are in two different states, how do we know if it is in two different states? By determining from these provisions. If it is in two different states, then it is a interstate transaction. Okay. So just seeing the question, don't answer it, analyze it through these provisions. I know when someone asks you a random question, that's a different thing. But in a question where you have to answer properly, then you have to analyze things clearly. Okay. Where is the supply involving movement? Yes. If it is not involving movement, then you will not come here. So simple example where any transfer it happens when you buy something from a shop, right? He is delivering the goods to you. It involves movement, correct? Because the supply is involving movement, not from the supplier, but from the recipient. When you go to a shop, buy a book, the supply involves movement. You have to move the book, right? Not necessarily it should be in a vehicle. Even if you are moving it through your hand, still movement, because it doesn't say here that movement should be through a vehicle or a conveyance. It just says where the supply involves movement. In this case, supply is involving movement. So it will involve movement and the goods will get moved. But where is it terminating? From the supplier, the movement is getting terminated at his shop. So the place of supply will be his shop itself. Okay. For small goods where the goods are not required to get transported, it will get terminated at the place where the supplier delivers the goods itself. क्लियर? तो हमने यहाँ पे क्या देखा है कि प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स जहाँ पे सप्लाई मूवमेंट होता है, जहाँ पे वो सप्लाई के लिए इन्वॉल्व्स मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स, सप्लाई के लिए मूवमेंट ऑफ गुड्स आएगा, तब प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई वो होगा जहाँ पे गुड्स अपनी यात्रा खत्म कर रहा है। किसके लिए खत्म कर रहा है? डिलीवरी के लिए। जहां पे वो अपनी यात्रा खत्म कर रही है, वो जगह हो जाएगी प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स। क्लियर है? नेक्स्ट 10(1)(b). the where the supply involves bill to ship to transaction, ये तो हमको पता है। The place of supply of such goods shall be the principal place of business of the third person. That will be the place of supply. Where the goods are delivered by the supplier to a recipient at the instruction of a third person, the place of supply is the principal place of business of such third person and not of the actual recipient. मतलब क्या है? XYZ is based in Mumbai. XYZ is based in Mumbai. He places an order on ABC in Delhi for supply of goods. ठीक है, इसको हम चार्ट के थ्रू समझ जाएंगे। The connotation is gone. So, yeah. ABC, he's in Delhi. And who places the order? XYZ is based in Mumbai. Okay, he places the order on ABC. कि भाई, I will be. Okay. XYZ places the order on ABC in Delhi for the supply of goods. ABC is not having the said goods in stock, and ABC in turn places an order on PQR, who is again based in Delhi. PQR, who is in Delhi. To supply the goods directly to XYZ. PQR will supply the goods directly to XYZ. Okay, so this is order. This is the movement of goods. So here, who will receive the goods? XYZ will receive the goods. But who has placed the order? ABC has placed the order on PQR. Okay. But even though XYZ is receiving the goods, the place of supply will be ABC. Okay. Because the order is placed by the third person. Now, the third person is ABC. ABC is placing an order on PQR and PQR is supplying it to XYZ. But the place of supply of such goods shall be the principal place of business. The place of supply of such goods shall be the principal place of business of such third person. So this is the third person. इवन दो थर्ड पर्सन के यहाँ पे कुछ भी गुड्स नहीं आ रहा है, दिल्ली से जा रहा है मुंबई, लेकिन प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई होगा एबीसी, क्योंकि बिल टू शिप टू ट्रांजैक्शन में मैं किसको बिल करूंगा, दैट विल बी द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई। क्लियर है यहाँ तक? नो क्वेश्चंस बीन आस्क्ड, चैट्स डिसेबल किया गया है क्या? Okay, you're still not clear on who is the buyer and who is the seller. सर बायर इस केस में सिंपल है, XYZ ने ऑर्डर दिया है पी एबीसी को। अब एबीसी को किसको डिलीवर करना है? XYZ को। माल किसको चाहिए? XYZ को। एबीसी के पास माल नहीं है, तो उसने किसी और वेंडर से बात किया, पीक्यूआर। पीक्यूआर के पास है माल, पीक्यूआर बोल रहा है ठीक है मैं आपको सप्लाई करूंगा। अब नॉर्मल चैनल ये होना चाहिए कि पीक्यूआर सप्लाई कर रहा है एबीसी को और एबीसी सप्लाई कर रहा है XYZ को। लेकिन टाइम अवॉइड करने के लिए आप भैया डायरेक्टली मेरे कस्टमर को ही भेज दो, ये एबीसी ने कहा है। तो पीक्यूआर को बोल दिया गया कि पीक्यूआर यू सप्लाई डायरेक्टली टू XYZ। सो सेलर कौन है यहाँ पे? एटलीस्ट सेलर इज क्लियर कि पीक्यूआर इज द सेलर, करेक्ट? पीक्यूआर इज द सेलर एंड बायर इज एबीसी, बिकॉज पीक्यूआर डिलीवर कर रहा है XYZ को ऑन हुज इंस्ट्रक्शंस? एबीसी के इंस्ट्रक्शंस पे। तो देर आर टू ट्रांजैक्शंस, वन इनवॉइस विल बी रेज बाय पीक्यूआर। पीक्यूआर सेल कर रहा है तो इनवॉइस तो रेज करेगा। पीक्यूआर किसको रेज करेगा? एबीसी को। उसमें लिखेगा बिल टू एबीसी दिल्ली एंड शिप टू XYZ मुंबई। सो ये एबीसी पीक्यूआर को पेमेंट कर लेगा। XYZ को जो गुड्स मिला है उसका कौन पेमेंट करेगा? XYZ पे करेगा। किसको पे करेगा? पीक्यूआर को नहीं, पे करेगा एबीसी को। तो XYZ will pay to ABC and इसके लिए ABC has to raise an invoice. ABC will raise an invoice on XYZ telling it that I am billing to you. Shipping का एड्रेस आएगा ही नहीं क्योंकि वो शिप कर ही नहीं रहा है। So it will be a bill to ship to transaction. That will be the second invoice which ABC will raise to XYZ. तो उसका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई क्या होगा? उसका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी XYZ मुंबई itself. एग्जाम में आपको जैसे ही दिया गया है पता चलेगा ना बिल टू शिप टू कहाँ पे है। What if XYZ and ABC and XYZ, ABC and XYZ are two branch of the same company? Still same होगा क्योंकि different states है, different states है तो फिर वो separate registration लेंगे, correct? So then the answer will still be same. PQR only deliver the goods, not bill to XYZ, correct? Because they're only delivering. Who is the person who has told you to bill? Who is the person who has given you the instructions to deliver to XYZ? ABC. So you will raise an invoice to ABC because you have a contract with ABC. Wherever he tells you, you will deliver it. So your primary contract is with ABC itself. Correct. Priya, the place of supply you have understood today. You have come very nice, and you have understood this clearly. PQR will charge CGST, SGST. That is very nice because it is billing to Delhi. So delivery location will not be required. And since it is from Delhi to Delhi, he will charge CGST and SGST. Very, very correct. ठीक है. So we'll understand this with some more examples. I have a chart to explain it. Okay. I should have made a flow chart, but you understand this. That Ganesh Traders, okay, is the supplier who is giving the order, Maruti Traders. Maruti Traders places an order on Ganesh Traders ki you deliver the goods to me. Ganesh Traders started the journey, and that time Maruti Traders called and said, no, no, don't deliver the goods to me. Deliver the goods to my customer who is also in your own state or in a different state. Sorry, he's in Maharashtra. Deliver the goods to Tamil Nadu, my customer who is Prime Hardwares. So from the lorry movement, you can see that goods are getting delivered at Prime Hardwares, right? Even though the goods are getting delivered at Prime Hardwares, the place of supply will be Maruti Traders location. This will be the place of supply. So Ganesh traders will bill to Maruti traders and ship to Prime Hardwares. Who is giving the order for delivery of the goods? That is the place of supply. That is what 10(1)(b) is saying. Now, what about the order received by Maruti from Prime? For this, Maruti will bill to Prime. On the place of supply will be the again the billing entity. There, it will be assumed that Maruti has delivered to Prime because their goods are not moving because goods are already there. So goods does not involve movement. There, this provision will apply where the goods are already located Prime and Prime is in a different state. So it will bill a IGST. So that's why there'll be two transactions. In a bill to ship to transactions, there are two transactions. One is billed from the original supplier to the person who's placing the order. And second, from the person who has placed the order to the person to whom it is actually delivered. So that's why if you see, this is the one billing, this is the second billing. Correct. Correct, Bhuma, that Maruti traders are the ones who are placing the order. So they are the one who will, they are the place of supply. We'll make it more clear. These are different states, so everywhere it involved IGST. But now we'll go to a transaction where they are in the same state. Then what will happen? Hmm. Maruti traders is in Maharashtra and Ganesh Traders is also in Maharashtra. Transaction is same, only location is changed. Maruti traders, instead of being in a different state, they're in the same state. Now, when goods started moving from Ganesh Traders, you stopped them and said, don't deliver to me, deliver to my customer in Karnataka. So the goods were shipped to Karnataka. Of course, for that, there'll be extra transportation charges, which you're ready to bear. Because if it comes to you, then you will arrange it. There'll be a time lag. So you're delivering the supplier is telling you to the person who placed the order is telling you to deliver the goods directly to the different location. So in this case, even though the goods are moving from one state to another state, place of supply is Maruti traders and Maruti traders and Ganesh traders are in the same state. So you will bill CGST and SGST. Now Maruti traders and Prime Hardwares are in different states. So they will bill IGST. पवन हिंदी में टॉपिक बहुत इजी है. यहाँ पे देख लीजिए आप. जहां पर आपको बिलिंग किया जाता है, जो आपके ऊपर ऑर्डर देता है, जो आपको ऑर्डर देता है, वो हो जाएगा आपका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. ये पिक्चर में आपको दिख रहा है ना ठीक से, उसी में क्लियर हो जाएगा कि जहां से आपको ऑर्डर मिल रहा है वो हो जाएगा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, ना कि जहां पे गुड्स डिलीवर हो रहे हैं. जहां से आपको आ रहा है ऑर्डर वो हो जाएगा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. और तो फिर वो स्टेट, उस पर्सन, इस पर्सन का लोकेशन क्या है, दोनों सेम स्टेट में है, तो फिर आप सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी बिल करेंगे, ना कि जहां पे गुड्स डिलीवर हो रहे हैं. नॉर्मल केसेस में जहां पे गुड्स डिलीवर हो रहे हैं वहां पे हमको कंसिडर करना चाहिए प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई. लेकिन बिल टू शिप टू में, बिल आप एक को कर रहे हो, शिप किसी और को कर रहे हो, तब जब आप किसको बिल करोगे उस एड्रेस को आप प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई मानोगे. ठीक है. और ट्रांजैक्शन यहाँ पे खत्म हो गया नहीं, क्योंकि मारुति ट्रेडर्स भी बिल करेगा प्राइम हार्डवेयर को, मारुति ट्रेडर्स बिल करेगा प्राइम हार्डवेयर को, दोनों अलग स्टेट में है, तब वो आईजीएसटी बिल करेगा। ठीक है। So in case of subsection 1A, place of supply is the place of delivery, and case of 1B, place of supply is the place of the third party, that is the principal location. Right. For Ganesh Trader, place of supply is Maruti Traders. For Maruti Traders, place of supply is Prime Hardware. Correct. Correct. ठीक है. Now, where the supply not involving movement of goods, 10(1)(c), different situations हो सकते हैं. आइडेंटिटी रिवील होगी होगी दैट बिजनेस हैज टू टेक केयर कि जब आइडेंटिटी रिवील होनी चाहिए या नहीं होनी चाहिए. अगर दे आर ओके कि मेरा प्रोडक्ट यूनिक है, तो फिर वो आइडेंटिटी रिवील में भी कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी. अगर उनको रिवील नहीं कर रहा है, तो फिर वो गुड्स लेंगे और फिर डिलीवर करेंगे. दैट्स अ बिजनेस कॉल. Where the supply does not involve movement of goods. In that case, the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. Okay, where the supply is not involving movement of goods, in that case, the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. मतलब क्या हुआ, इसका एग्जाम्पल देखेंगे. Where the supply of goods is made to a person other than the registered person, the place of supply shall, notwithstanding anything contrary in A to C, shall be the location as per the address of the person located in the invoice issued in respect of the said supply, and location of the supply where the address of the said person is not recorded in the invoice. For the purpose of this clause, recording of the name, acha, so this is something else, where the place of supply of goods is not involving movement of goods. जहां पे फर्स्ट केस में हमने देखा मूवमेंट है, सेकंड केस में हमने देखा बिल टू शिप टू, यहाँ पे थर्ड केस में मूवमेंट ही इन्वॉल्व नहीं है. देन द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज द लोकेशन ऑफ द गुड्स एट द टाइम ऑफ डिलीवरी टू द रिसिपिएंट. सपोज एक ऑफिस है. ठीक है, देयर इज वन ऑफिस. ऑफिस के अंदर सब फिटिंग्स है, एयर कंडीशनर, फर्नीचर, चेयर्स, इतना है. बाकी सब तो मूवेबल गुड्स है, ये काइंड ऑफ फिक्स्ड गुड्स है. ठीक है. नाउ यहाँ पे एक टेनेंट रहता था. नाउ दिस टेनेंट इज वेकेटिंग. व्हेन ही इज वेकेटिंग, ही इज लाइक, मैं इसको सब लेके जाऊंगा, लेके जा सकता हूँ, बट फॉर माई न्यू ऑफिस आई नीड न्यू फर्नीचर, सो आई विल लीव हियर इटसेल्फ. So a new tenant comes, he comes to this office and he says, okay, I am ready to buy it. So when he buys it, there is a sale because air conditioner is movable, right? Air conditioner क्या immovable हो जाएगा? Firstly, that is a question. Is it movable or immovable? It is movable, correct? Bully and Booma is saying immovable. क्यों? ये फिक्स हो गया तो हिल नहीं सकता है. ऐसा नहीं है. It is movable because it has to operate. That's why it is made movable. वरना फिर because of the function, it has to be kept in a immovable stage. वरना फिर आप इसको कहीं पे भी रख सकते हो. ठीक है. ओनली फॉर इंस्टॉलेशन पर्पसेस कि एक जगह रहना चाहिए, सो वी आर कीपिंग इट वन प्लेस. अदरवाइज इट इज मूवेबल बिकॉज इट कैन बी रिमूव विदाउट एनी ब्रेकेज. इट कैन बी रिमूव, पाइपिंग वगैरह निकाल दीजिए और दूसरी जगह आप लेके जा सकते हो. सो इट इज अ मूवेबल गुड्स. सो व्हेन इट इज अ मूवेबल गुड्स, ओके, एंड बट दैट ऑलरेडी इंस्टॉल कर दिया गया है. हमारे एग्जाम्पल में जब टेनेंट सप्लाई, जो पुराना टेनेंट खाली कर रहा है और उसको यहीं पे छोड़ रहा है, एंड आई एम बाइंग इट as a new tenant. Does this involve movement? This does not involve movement. So in that case, where the supply is not involving movement of goods, the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. Where the goods are located, ये यहाँ पे हुए. So supplier can be from another state. ठीक है, उसने यहाँ पे ब्रांच खोल दिया है, but the goods are already located here and it does not involve movement. So the place of supply will be the place of the location of the goods at the time of delivery. So ये goods यहाँ पे है, so this office will become the place of supply. Clear? No. There is a clause which says where the supply of goods is made to a person other than a registered person. Okay. The place of supply is made to a person. मतलब जो आपका customer है is not registered. In that case, the place of supply shall, notwithstanding anything contrary, shall be the location as per the address of the said person. तो ये एक नया clause explanation इन्होंने insert किया है that when you are supplying it to a unregistered person, it shall be the location as per the address of the said person recorded in the invoice issued in respect of the said supply, and the location of supplier where the address of the said person is not recorded in the invoice. तो जब भी आप किसी सप्लायर कस्टमर को सप्लाई करते हो who is not registered, it shall be the location as per the address. क्योंकि कस्टमर आया, लेके गया, चला गया है. Now you don't know his place of supply because he's not given you the exact address where he will take it. But he is he's given you the address where he will take, you don't know, but he's given you the address. If you have the address, based on the address, you will get to know what is the place of supply. If he's not given you the address, he's just bought it and run away, then the location of supplier will be the place of supply. For the purpose of this clause, recording of the name of the state of the said person shall be deemed to a recording of the address. आया अर्जेंट में, पूरा एड्रेस नहीं दिया और उसने स्टिल बोल दिया कि मैं छत्तीसगढ़ से हूं, आपने छत्तीसगढ़ लिख दिया आपके बिल में, that means the place of supply is Chhattisgarh. Okay, where it is involves movement of goods or when it involves not movement of goods. In that situation, they're saying when you're supplying it to an unregistered person, the address, what is there, that will be treated as the place of supply. करेक्ट, जहां पर गुड्स जा रही है वो गुड, अच्छा थर्ड वाले केस में जहां पर गुड्स है वो जगह प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई है. करेक्ट सौम्या. Then only CGST and SGST will apply. Correct. But Patil Avre, if it is the place of supply, if the location of supplier, say I have a branch in Karnataka, I'm opening up a branch in Tamil Nadu. From there, I'm vacating and a new tenant comes in. So then it will not be CGST and SGST because I don't have registration there. I am only registered in Karnataka. I've just opened a testing office there. So location of supplier is in Karnataka, place of supply is in Tamil Nadu. Then it will be IGST. That means if the owner is in different state and goods is in different state, that will be IGST. And if the owner and goods are in the same state, that will be CGST. Correct. Very true. So CG and SGST is very simple, right? So first we have to understand whether it is, where is the place of supply and location of supply, you will know. Then your ultimate answer, you will get it. So our objective is not to find CGST, SGST or IGST. Our objective is one step before that to find out what is the place of supply. Once you know the place of supply, everything will become smooth. अगर उसने कुछ नहीं बोला तो, किसने कुछ नहीं बोला तो, If he lives in Chhattisgarh and purchasing in New Delhi, then POS will be. Mm, can you please clear your question, Priya? I'm a little confused. सर किसी I mean the unregistered person who lives in Chhattisgarh and buy goods in Delhi, then what will be the place of supply? Yeah. So if the unregistered person from Delhi comes in, from Chhattisgarh, he comes to Delhi and he buys some goods and gives his address, then the place of supply will be Chhattisgarh because the supplier knows the address. Now, if he comes to Delhi and he does not mention his address, then the place of supply will be Delhi itself. Unregistered person, he gives address, his place of supply. If not, supplier's address is the place of supply. Correct. Under 10(1) CA, if the unregistered person says that I am from Chhattisgarh but he buys goods in Delhi, then what will be the POS? You got the answer for this. अगर बायर ने कुछ नहीं बोला तो मतलब वो बायर अर्जेंट में आके परचेज कर लिया और एड्रेस नहीं बताया, देन प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी द लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर इटसेल्फ. ठीक है. व्हाट केस दिस एक्सप्लेनेशन गोज टू? इट गोज टू 10A एंड 10C, दोनों के लिए ये जाएगा. ठीक है. Place of supply of goods in case of 10(1)(d). 10(1)(d) say where the supply involves installation or assembly of goods. ठीक है. जहां पे हमको इंस्टॉल करना है. जैसे क्या एग्जांपल ले सकते हैं? एक बिल्डिंग है, बिल्डिंग में अपार्टमेंट बन रहा है, उनको लिफ्ट इंस्टॉलेशन करना है. तो उन्होंने ऑर्डर दिया एक लिफ्ट को. लिफ्ट के लिए लिफ्ट वालों को ही आके इंस्टॉल करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है. सो दे विल कम एंड डू द इंस्टॉलेशन. सो द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज द प्लेस ऑफ सच इंस्टॉलेशन और असेंबली. तो लिफ्ट का कंपनी है दिल्ली में, दे हैव अ सेंट्रल ऑफिस, वहीं से वो सब करते हैं एंड दे विल सेंड द इंजीनियर्स एंड गेट इट इंस्टॉल्ड इन बैंगलोर. तो supplier is in Delhi, place of supply is where? Is it Delhi or Bangalore? It is Bangalore because Bangalore is a place where it will get installed. So the place of supply will be Bangalore. Simple. ये तो सिंपल केस हो गया. अब को थोड़ा कॉम्प्लिकेट केस लेते हैं. जब आई हैव टू स्टार्ट वन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बिजनेस, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग गोडाउन सेटअप करना है. आई हैव माई ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग गोडाउन इन कर्नाटका. नाउ आई वांट टू सेट अप इन तमिलनाडु. ठीक है. आई वांट टू सेट अप इन तमिलनाडु. आई एम नॉट रजिस्टर्ड बिकॉज आई हैव नॉट येट स्टार्टेड द बिजनेस. Okay. Assembling is different from installation. Assembly or installation. Yes, assembly is different. Installation is different. So when it is a case that I told you, the first case was installation. Now I'll tell you about assembly. Now I have to set up a shed. Now shed does not, it requires, I require a machinery for the manufacturing unit in Tamil Nadu. Now the machinery is very big. The supplier is in Karnataka. Okay. And I am registered in Karnataka, but I wanted to get assembled because it's a machinery. It is not installation, it is assembly. The supply machinery is very big. They have, it is in various parts that has to get assembled and will become one. Okay. So they will, the say L&T. L&T is the manufacturer of this machinery. I've told this you have to assemble at my site in Tamil Nadu. They will come to the Tamil Nadu and assemble it. I have not registered in Tamil Nadu. I have registration in Karnataka. So what is the place of supply? The scenario is given in front of you and the practical case is also given. Now you tell me what will be the place of supply. Janvi is saying Karnataka. And everyone is saying it is Tamil. Yes, Janvi. Why is the place of supply कर्नाटका? जहां पर असेंबल हुआ है, कहाँ पे असेंबल हुआ है? तमिलनाडु पे, करेक्ट. सो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी तमिलनाडु. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि जीएसटी लॉस होगा, आपने रजिस्ट्रेशन कर्नाटका में किया है, सप्लायर भी कर्नाटका में है, तो फिर वो कर्नाटका को रेस करना चाहिए? नहीं. इस प्रोविजन में क्लियरली बोल रहा है कि प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज द प्लेस ऑफ सच इंस्टॉलेशन और असेंबली. वो इंस्टॉलेशन असेंबली हो रही है तमिलनाडु में, सो द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विल बी तमिलनाडु. So the supplier will charge IGST, but you are there in Karnataka, आप उसका credit ले सकते. Correct? Because if he charges IGST, still you can claim the credit. So place of supply will not be driven by your registration. Place of supply will be driven by these 5 rules itself. ठीक है? Place of supply of goods in 10(1)(e), where it says when the goods are supplied on board a conveyance, including a vessel, a aircraft, or a motorcycle. What is conveyance? Conveyance means it's been defined as the process of transporting or carrying someone or something from one place to another place. It could be carrying some person or it could be carrying some goods. Anything which is the mode for delivery, that is called as conveyance. So when the goods are supplied, यहाँ पे क्या किया? पैसेंजर सप्लाई का नहीं किया, बिकॉज पैसेंजर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, जब आप बस में जाते हो, ट्रेन में जाते हो, फ्लाइट में जाते हो, दैट इज नॉट गुड्स, क्योंकि यू आर अ पैसेंजर एंड यू आर यूजिंग द सर्विस, दैट्स अ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस. सो पैसेंजर ट्रांसपोर्ट आएगा लेकिन सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस में आएगा. यहाँ पे क्या है? सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स. सो व्हेन एनी गुड्स आर गेटिंग सप्लाइड ऑन बोर्ड अ कन्वीनियंस, आपका ट्रांसपोर्टेशन ऑफ गुड्स वो मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट जीटीए सर्विस, because GTA is a service, courier is a service. We are talking about a case where goods are supplied on board a conveyance. आप फ्लाइट में जा रहे हो, आपको छोटा फ्लाइट एक दिया जाता है कि टेक दिस मेमोरेबल फ्लाइट फॉर 1,000 रुपीज. सो इट्स अ गुड्स. आप एक वेजल में जाते हो, क्रूज में जाते हो, और आपको वहां पे एक छोटा एक मॉन्यूमेंट मिल जाता है एंड यू लाइक इट, यू बाई इट. सो उसका प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई क्या होगा? वेर यूर ट्रैवलिंग, वेर एनी गुड्स आर सप्लाइड ऑन बोर्ड अ कन्वेयंस, उसे कहते हैं सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स ऑन बोर्ड अ कन्वेयंस. ठीक है? सो वी आर ओनली टॉकिंग अबाउट सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स. आप जब फ्लाइट में जाते हो, खाना भी खाते हो, बट दैट इज नॉट कवर्ड हियर अगेन, बिकॉज फूड और एनी ड्रिंक इज सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस, बट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट स्पेसिफिकली गुड्स. ठीक है? जैसे सॉफ्ट टॉय लेते हैं आप when you travel in a flight, when you travel in a aircraft, when you travel in a ship, when you travel in a train also you buy some things, right? So उन सब चीजों का place of supply कहाँ पे होगा? The place of supply shall be the location at which such goods are taken on board. Where the goods are taken on board, that is a place of supply. ठीक है? Now let's understand this with practical example. आपने एक फ्लाइट ली है. You have flight. The flight is from मुंबई. मुंबई से जा रही है दिल्ली एंड दिल्ली से जा रही है जयपुर. ठीक है? ऑल द थ्री आर इन डिफरेंट स्टेट्स, राइट? एटलीस्ट उतना तो पता है ना हमको. मुंबई इज इन महाराष्ट्र, दिल्ली इज अ सेपरेट यूनियन टेरिटरी एंड जयपुर इज इन राजस्थान. ऑल थ्री डिफरेंट स्टेट्स. यू हैव बोर्डेड अ फ्लाइट. आपकी फ्लाइट You have boarded the flight at Delhi. ठीक है, फ्लाइट जा रही है मुंबई से दिल्ली, दिल्ली से जयपुर, हॉप एंड चॉप था। जिसको मुंबई से जयपुर जाना था वो फ्लाइट में ही रहेगा, लेकिन जिनको दिल्ली से जाना है वो दिल्ली से चढ़ेगा, राइट? यू हैव बोर्डेड अ फ्लाइट इन दिल्ली एंड यू हैव बॉट अ सॉफ्ट टॉय, ठीक है, वो बेच रहे थे खिलौने, व्हेन द फ्लाइट वाज इन अमृतसर और टू टेक अनदर स्टेट हरियाणा। फ्लाइट दिल्ली से हरियाणा होते हुए जयपुर जा रही थी। यू बॉट अ सॉफ्ट टॉय एट हरियाणा। ओके, नाउ टेल मी व्हाट इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई फॉर दिस सॉफ्ट टॉय व्हाट यू बॉट। फ्लाइट वाले को जीएसटी चार्ज करना है, बिकॉज इंडिया इज लैंड मास एंड एयर स्पेस अबव। आप ऐसे नहीं कह सकते आपने लैंड में परचेज नहीं किया तो आपका जीएसटी नहीं लगेगा। लैंड मास अबव एंड बिलो इज ऑल्सो इंडिया इटसेल्फ। तो आप हवा में भी कुछ खरीदोगे तो जीएसटी तो लगेगा ही। जयपुर, दिल्ली, हरियाणा। लकीली किसी ने मुंबई नहीं कहा, सभी ऑप्शंस दे दिया है सब लोगों ने। या तो फिर दिल्ली, ओ मुंबई भी बोल दिया केविन ने। मुंबई, दिल्ली, हरियाणा और किसी ने जयपुर भी कहा है। सो ऑल लोकेशंस हैव गॉट कवर्ड। स्मृति हैज गिवन द करेक्ट आंसर। बोर्डेड फ्रॉम दिल्ली, दैट्स वे प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज दिल्ली। तो इसमें लिखा गया है क्या, द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई शैल बी द लोकेशन एट विच सच दैट वेयर यू आर बोर्डेड। क्वेश्चन ही इनकम्प्लीट है एंड यू हैव नॉट आस्क्ड द क्वेश्चन आल्सो। जब आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलता है तो आप पूछिए, वेयर आर द गुड्स ऑन बोर्डेड। वो गुड्स फ्लाइट में कौन से लोकेशन में चढ़ाया गया है। इट इज नॉट द पर्सन ऑन बोर्डेड, इट इज वेयर द गुड्स आर ऑन बोर्डेड। आपने सब समझ लिया है कि मैं दिल्ली से चढ़ रहा हूँ इसलिए सबने दिल्ली कर दिया है, और कुछ लोगों ने हरियाणा भी कह दिया, क्योंकि हरियाणा है। उसका कौन आइडेंटिफाई करेगा, ईच एंड एवरी सेल यू कैन नॉट आइडेंटिफाई। दैट्स व्हाई द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई रूल सेज दैट इट गिव्स यू क्लैरिटी कि आपको जहां पे बेचा है वो देखने की जरूरत नहीं है। ठीक है, सो वेयर आर द गुड्स ऑन बोर्डेड, द टॉयज एंड ऑल अदर मर्चेंडाइज गुड्स वेयर ऑन बोर्डेड इन मुंबई। तो फिर प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई कहाँ पे होगा? सब लोग आ गए अभी मुंबई बोलने के लिए। करेक्ट, सो द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इज मुंबई। तो आपको अभी समझ में आ गया दिल्ली इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई कैसे। Place of supply will be the place where the goods are onboarded, not the passenger getting onboarded. Passenger get onboarded in between, but the place have, even though I did not go to Mumbai, but the goods started their journey from Mumbai. So the place of supply will be the goods, where the place where the goods are getting onboarded. The goods are getting onboarded at Mumbai. So the place of supply will be Mumbai itself. Clear? Sir, in fifth case, which fifth case? 10(1)(e, right? Bill will be given to Karnataka branch. So why this is not intra-state transaction? I didn't understand your question. Bill, yeah, you're saying in case of this place of supply of installation. So it doesn't depend. So this is where we are trying to clear that the place of supply is not decided on the bill. The bill may be wrong just because you have seen a lot of people doing that. Okay, wherever you bill, you have to bill the GST. That is not the correct. practice. That's a wrong practice. Wherever you bill, that should be the place of supply is wrong. None of the places we have said where you bill, that should be the place of supply. The place of supply rules decides the place of supply. When you are buying a goods which is already installed or it is to be installed, then that will be the place of supply. Nahi, Rishi, I'm not saying pure journey ka C and S. I'm only just saying the place of supply is Mumbai. Now you have to decide where is the location of supplier and then decide what is the place of supply. Fine. Any doubts here? Clear. So in our next session, what we'll discuss is place of supply for services. Okay. Very simple, right? Location, place of supply of goods. Just do one revision so that by the time you come for the next class, we will take up the MCQs for place of supply of goods. So you'll be completely thorough with this. Then one CA point of unregistered person. So whenever you're supplying it to unregistered person, the government is losing revenue because they're always treating it as C and S. So that's why they said when you're supplying it to an unregistered person, take his address, both in case of 10.1 and 10C, take his address. If you have his address, then charge IGST so that that state will get the revenue. Otherwise, always the supplier state is getting revenue and government will not get any revenue and the other person will claim the credit also. That's why they said that the recipient has to claim the credit, recipient state has to claim the credit. When you're supplying it to an unregistered person, the take the address and decide the place of supply. If is not giving you the address, then it will be the location of supplier. There are two transactions in a bill to ship to transactions. Supply from A to the person to whom the goods are getting delivered. Second is, sorry, first transaction is from the supplier. Second, to the person to whom you are billing. Second is the billing entity to the person to whom actually goods are getting delivered. So there are two transactions. Swati madam, will you take some questions? B2B and B2C. B2B is very simple. When you are supplying it to a registered person, it is called B2B. When you are supplying it to an unregistered person, that is called as B2C. Okay, as a revision, Bhuma has given it 10.1A, place of supply is place of delivery. 10.1B, place of supply is the place of the person who places the order, who is the third party. Very good. 10.1C is place of goods are there at the time of delivery. Place of goods where they are there at the time of delivery. Correct. 10.1D is place of installation of assembly. Very nice. And 10.1E is place where the goods are onboarded on the conveyance, etc. Correct. Okay, so I'll take up some MCQs on place of supply of goods. Yes, Swati madam, you're on mute.
Yes, Deepak. Today, a lot of multiple choice questions, MCQs have been taken by you, and I hope that students you enjoyed a lot, and you have really your the previous session have been brushed up in a very interesting manner. The charge of GST, lot of questions relating to compositions, levy, and all have been taken by Deepak sir. So now, as the sir has started the topic place of supply, so we are just about to wind up the session, and to conclude, I just will brush up the important provisions which we have learned so far. Why we say that this chapter is important? The place of supply chapter. This is of paramount importance. It is important because this when we are able to determine the place of supply, correct place of supply, then only we can we can move to determination of correct nature of supply. And why nature of supply is important, because then only we can correctly levy tax, whether the CGST plus SGST would be leviable on a particular transaction, or IGST would be leviable. That depends upon the nature of supply, and nature of supply depends upon the place of supply. So this is how this chapter is very essential. Basically, it is essential to determine the place of nature of supply. And as we know, I'm just brushing up as whatever the sir has, sir has taught you till now, till the supply, place of supply of goods, basically. What does we mean by place of supply? Place of supply is basically is the place where the supply is consumed. As we know that GST is a destination based tax, so place of supply is a place where the supply is consumed. It basically determines the jurisdiction where the tax revenue should reach, right? Now, let's come to the important things. As I has already explained you B2B and B2C, as we will, recurrently use this terminology. B2B is business to business transactions, and B2C is business to consumer. And for B2B transactions, location of recipients is important, because in almost all the situations, credit is to be taken by the recipient, right? Now, one thing to note here is that in case of place of supply provisions are governed by Chapter 5 of the IGST Act 2017. See, we have not, at each and every place mentioned that of the CGST Act 2017 or the IGST Act 2017, but generally students commit mistake in during examination also at this point of time, that they end up, whenever they quote the section, they just wrongly end up in writing section 10 of the CGST Act. But please note that the place of supply provisions are governed by the IGST Act 2017. And at the intermediate level, our discussion is restricted to place of supply of goods and services in case of domestic transactions only, right? So now coming to just let's brush up the section 10, place of supply of goods. Other than supply of goods imported into or exported from India, as we are discussing, curtailing our discussion to only domestic transactions. So in case of section 10(1), which talks about the place of supply of goods, we have got basically, section 10, there are five sub clauses. So there are five type of activities, five type of transactions are covered therein. Number one is, let's just first quickly brush up. Supply involves movement of goods. So I'm just asking you, please, I think the chat is, if it is enabled, just please let me know what would be the place of supply in case of supply involving movement of goods. Yeah, I'm waiting for the answers. Priya Mishra has replied where the delivery of the goods terminates. Subhanshi, Anubhav, Meera, you are writing place of supply. Rishi, at registered office of buyer. See, in case of movement of goods, see, whenever there is a movement of goods, the place of supply is the location of the goods at the time when the movement of goods terminates for the delivery, right? So wherever is the movement of goods terminates. Divya is saying billing address is the place of supply. No, Divya, your answer is wrong. I think you have not understood the question properly. I am talking about the instance where supply involves movement of goods. So in case of movement of goods, place of supply is the location where the movement of goods terminates, right? Now comes to the very important another limb of the place of supply. That supply involving movement of goods, but where goods are delivered by a recipient on the instruction of a third person. This type of transaction is known as bill to ship to supply, and this is very important. Generally we get a question during in the examination on bill to ship to supply. So I just for very quickly I'm waiting for the answer. What would be the place of supply in case of bill to ship to supply? I just want to check, have you understood the concept correctly or not? Anubhav has replied, location of the third person who is giving the order of supply is somewhere from where the order is placed. See, in case of supply involving movement of goods, where goods are delivered to recipient on the instruction of a third person, please note that in this case, particular case, there are two limbs of supply, right? There are basically two limbs of supply. In the first limb, goods are delivered by the supplier to the recipient on the instructions of a third person. So place of supply is the principal place of business of such third person and not the actual recipient. So principal place of business of थर्ड पर्सन ऑन हुज इंस्ट्रक्शंस, जिसने इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिए, जो थर्ड पर्सन है जिसने इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिए गुड्स को डिलीवर करने के लिए, वही प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई होगा इन द फर्स्ट लिम्ब ऑफ सप्लाई. It also involves the second limb of supply, and that is basically uh, supply by supplier to the third person. That is supply by third person to recipient is governed by provisions of section 10(1)(a). Right? So place of supply is the location where the movement of goods terminates. Let's understand it. If there is Mr. A and there is a third person, Mr. B, and B has asked Mr. A to deliver the goods to C. Right? So now in this case, Mr. B has given instructions to A to deliver the goods to C. So place of supply will be location of principal place of business of B, third person. B is a third person. That third person is B, so location of principal place of business of third person. This is the place of supply in case of bill to ship to model, but it also involves a transaction where movement of goods involved. So place of supply would be the location where the movement of goods terminates for delivery to the recipient. Now, this third person has delivered to the goods to Mr. C, and so place of supply is location of goods at the time when the movement of good terminates for delivery to C, right? So it is the location of supplier A, right? Now we come to the third activity, that is supply not involving movement of goods. Where the supply does not involve any sort of movement of goods, what would be the place of supply? Supply not involving movement of goods, what would be the place of supply? Anubhav is asking, in exam we have to write both the aspects. Yes, Anubhav, it is recommended, it is advised that students should know both the aspects in case of bill to ship to model. Just like in the recent examination also, there were the one question was there on bill to ship to supply, and it was particularly asked that you need to answer the you need to answer the place of supply for both the sort of supplies, both the two types of supplies involved therein. So in case of movement of goods, it is the location of goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. Very good. Almost all the students have understood it correctly. Now coming to the supply of goods to an unregistered person. This was an amendment. So in the study material, if you are referring, it is given in bold and italics. So whatever is the content is given in bold and italics form, it is a amendment basically, right? It says that where the address of unregistered person is recorded in the invoice, then place of supply is location of address of unregistered person. And if we don't have any address of unregistered person, then the place of supply is location of supplier. One other point to note here is that simply mentioning the state of unregistered person instead of complete address, that is also sufficient, right? Now, I think in the examination, one question was also there in case of place of supply of goods. I think one MCQ was there. One MCQ was there in the recent examination on this circular, right? So amendment students carry really a lot of weightage in the examination. Please stay, give your special focus on the amendment. Whatever is content is given in the study material in the bold italics form, that is basically the amended portion. So you need to pay special attention to it. So in case of, let's say, this is an example of a mobile phone. Let's say I have ordered a mobile phone and my place of address is different, and although the billing address which I have provided is a different one. So what would be the place of supply? Billing address is different from the address of delivery of goods. Then this circular has clarified that as per provisions of section 101CA, place of supply shall be the address of delivery of goods recorded in the invoice, right, where the delivery address is located. Now, supply involving install. Do we have to remember the circular number of amendments as well for exams? Anubhav Malik has asked. No, Anubhav, you need not remember the circular number. You just need to know the correct position which has been clarified by the circular. You need not remember any circular or notification number, right? And even for sections number, we say that it is always better not to quote than to misquote a section number. So if you don't remember any section number, it is better not to quote. And please, again I am telling you students, the provisions of place of supply are governed by the IGST Act 2017, not by the CGST Act 2017, right? And I will tell you, if you don't remember any section number, it is always better to write. It is safer to write. You can write as per the relevant provisions of the GST law, right? Now coming to the another transaction, supply involving installation or assembly of goods. What would be the place of supply? Please hurry up. Place of installation or assembly takes place. Anubhav, Uma, Kavita installed and assembled site. We want more participation. Rajveer, Harshpreet, Sunil, Kevin, everybody has replied it correctly. Good, very good. It means that you have understood the concepts concepts clearly, basically. So yes, if the supply involves goods which are to be installed or assembled, then place of supply is the place of such installation or assembly. Now coming to the last section 10(1)(e), in case of place of supply of goods, where goods supplied on board are conveyed. What would be the place of supply? Where goods are boarded. Let me ask you through a query. If let's say I have boarded the train from Prayagraj to New Delhi, right? And I have, someone, let's say Mr. X has boarded the train from Prayagraj. He has gone to Kumbh Yatra and he has boarded the train from Prayagraj to Delhi, right? Prayagraj Delhi train, and from Prayagraj, and he sells some goods, some sort of newspapers or the groceries in the train. So what would be the place of supply in this case? Last question of this session. What would be the place of supply if somebody, Mr. X, has boarded the train Prayagraj to Prayagraj Delhi from Prayagraj? What would be the place of supply? Yes, yes, I'm waiting for the answer. Harshpreet, you are saying Delhi. Your answer is wrong. So, if I'm saying your answer is wrong, I think everybody has understood that the correct answer is Prayagraj, because place of supply is the location where such goods have been taken on board, right? So, we have taken the train from Prayagraj to Delhi, Prayagraj from Prayagraj, so the place of supply is Prayagraj. So in today's session, we have very exhaustively, comprehensively covered section 10 of the IGST Act 2017. And by, we have also revised this section 10. And by this question answer session and this quick revision, I hope that your concepts are clear, absolutely clear, because majority of you have given the correct answer to me. So friends, now we come to the end of this session, and please stay with us. In next session we will take up the place of supply of services. Okay, so thank you, and please keep sharing your feedback for the session. Thank you. Yeah.